Thompson family had been living with unanswered questions for 5 long years. Private James Thompson was declared missing in action during a brutal overseas battle. His body never recovered. The military delivered the dreaded letter, but there was no closure, no funeral, no place to visit him. His wife, Sarah, and their young daughter, Lily, were left to grieve in limbo, holding on to hope that perhaps he was alive somewhere. It was a quiet November evening when the knock came at the door. Sarah glanced at the clock. It was nearly midnight. Visitors at this hour weren't common in their rural town. When she opened the door, her breath caught in her throat. Standing there was James. He looked the same as the day he left, his uniform neat but battle-worn, his boots muddy, his face calm yet tired. The only thing that seemed strange was his pale complexion, almost translucent, and the faint chill that followed him into the house.
"James!"
Sarah whispered, tears streaming down her face.
"I'm home,"
he said simply, his voice steady but soft like a distant echo. She threw herself into his arms, but there was a strange stillness to his embrace, as though he wasn't entirely there. Lily, now 8 years old, peeked out from her room, her eyes wide.
"Daddy?"
she said hesitantly. James knelt down, smiling at her, a tear rolling down his cheek.
"Hi, sweetheart. I've missed you so much."
Lily ran to him, wrapping her small arms around his neck. For a moment, it felt as though the world was whole again. They spent the night talking. James told them about the battle, about how he'd fallen, and how he had been lost in the fog of war, about how hard he fought to be able to come home. Sarah and Lily were ecstatic. It didn't bother them that he refused any food or drink he was offered. They were just happy to have their family together. Lily began talking about all the things she and her dad would do tomorrow. James's smile faded, the brightness in his eyes gone.
"I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I can't stay."
It was like the air was sucked out of the room. Lily and Sarah stared at James in disbelief.
"They're sending you back? Already?"
Sarah asked, her voice shaking.
"I was only allowed to come back for one thing. I need to say goodbye,"
he said, looking into their eyes, a bittersweet mixture of love and sorrow.
"What do you mean? Where are you going?"
Sarah said, leaping to her feet. James gave her a knowing look. He reached into his pocket and removed his dog tags, offering them to Sarah. As he did, his body shimmered, his form becoming translucent.
"Daddy, no."
Lily ran toward her father. He picked her up in his arms and embraced her.
"No, I don't understand."
Sarah's voice cracked.
"I thought about you both every day,"
James said, his voice fainter now. His figure seemed to fade with every passing moment. Sarah caressed his hand. Lily clung to his fading form, sobbing. James placed a kiss on Lily's forehead.
"I'll always be with you, my little Lily."
As the first light of dawn broke over the trees, James gave them one last smile before dissolving into the golden rays, like mist burned away by the morning sun. They held a proper funeral for him that week, laying his remains to rest in the family plot. Though their hearts ached, there was peace in knowing he was finally home.